Welcome to the Multiverse Comics podcast. On today's episode, a movie review for Thunderbolts. Enjoy.
Thunderbolts. Marvel movie review.
We've all actually seen a movie.
It's a Christmas miracle, early or late.
How did you get convinced to actually go see a movie in a theater?
Well, partly because I wanted to see it. Partly because the good Mr. Scott was like, yeah, I'll go with you. Partly because my youngest was like, I'd like to see that. And partly because I knew that we would most likely be discussing it.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be left out.
All right. Okay, so Thunderbolts.
Asterisk.
Yeah, I guess they
Now
let's spoil the crap out of this.
Well, we're going to throw it up here. There are spoilers from this point on.
Yeah.
If you don't want to hear,
Go see the movie and then come back.
Then we're fine with that.
But we will say, did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, you know I did.
I enjoyed it too. So that's 2. I enjoyed it, and 1. That's a pretty good score. So there's a recommendation to go and see it. Spoilers from here on out.
Yeah, I give it 1 neutral thumb. Not a thumb up,
gosh.
not a thumb down.
Okay, well that's
it was a great popcorn experience.
and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that is the deal. So it did something that irks me. I just hate it so much.
Can we guess?
And because, that's a fun game.
I know the answer already, so I'm going to.
Okay, so number 1, I know he doesn't like heroes fighting heroes.
I
so
do
that
hate
put
that.
him on a slippery slope with this from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 2, I know he's not happy with how they've handled Captain America. So giving prominence to John Walker might have a factor here. I don't know.
I think making him an a-hole is great. It was
Okay.
perfect.
I know he's a very proud American, so having a Russian superhero in there is just.
I don't think
gonna
that
be
ever
a-
came.
It was
That's
all
a joke.
Russians.
That's a
It was
joke.
almost all Russians.
4 would be it had an ending, but it kind of didn't. And I know he's not too happy with endings that are but aren't.
Well, you touch.
Am I getting close?
The first point you had
Heroes fighting heroes.
was part of it, but I will let
All right, go
Jason
on.
explain his,
Okay.
and then I'm going to go get comic historian on him, because after he made the comment, I went back and researched the point he was trying to make.
Okay.
Well,
Not to change his mind, just to flesh out a little
it's also
bit.
why I hate Sentry, but that's the whole thing. Okay, so the general thoughts. I love the characters that are in this. I think that Florence Pugh is the
she's a
White
she's a
Widow
delight.
or whatever she is. She's freaking hilarious. I love that character so much. I wish they would use her all the time.
So do I.
I think Red Guardian is a little he's a little too schlocky to me, but he's fun. I think the way they used Bucky was just badass in this. Like Bucky showing up and just
handling business pretty quick.
That
Love
was
that he's in politics now.
that too. So I still haven't seen Captain America because I'm anti the current regime. I'll watch it on the plane. I'm about to take a long flight. I'll watch it on the plane.
And it doesn't really deep dive into how he ended up in politics either. So if you're only going to see to try to find that answer, he's 5 minutes in that movie.
Yeah, but I was assuming that was one of the post-credit scenes or something.
No.
They don't talk about how he gets there.
No, the post-credit scene is actually setting up another component, setting up Doomsday.
Okay,
So
that's good. That'll be fun. All right, so so all those things are positive. I thought the things I liked about Captain Not America, Captain USA, whatever his name
U.S.
is.
agent.
U.S.
agent, yeah.
Guy Gardner from Marvel.
Yeah, the thing I liked about him was the fact that they never fixed his shield. That was the best thing about that guy. He just ran around with this taco shield all over the place.
18 months later.
18 months later, I did notice that. Yeah.
I love that. I thought that was brilliant. And then
It's like you can't throw it. So has he just been hitting people with this taco shield? I want my Marvel Legends figure
With a bench
taco
shield
shield.
or a Funko Pop with a bench shield.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
That was well done. I thought the other characters were throwaways, like the ghost. Like she just didn't really do much. Though I think she has the coolest power set, and they probably should have done more with her. Like her personality didn't get fleshed out any. They didn't do anything with her. So it was fine. The Sentry was pretty awesome in his power set and abilities and depiction, and but here's what drives me nuts. This is the full Gen Z Jason coming out.
Lay it on speed.
The whole like, oh, you've got to deal with your trauma and all that stuff. I'm like, suck it up, Buttercup. All of us have shit. Like, just deal with it. Like, I've had to deal with stuff. I was that kid growing up. You think I don't think I didn't get some trauma from that? You know, have a swirly. Have somebody shove your head in the toilet and flush it and tell me that's not a traumatic event. But we all have to deal with stuff, right? It just is what it is. And the whining and moaning about your trauma drives me crazy. And I know that every millennial and soft-hearted person in the world is like, you're a horrible human. I don't care. Deal with your own shit. It just is what it is. So I hate that they made that the central plot point of the story, even though I know that's the whole point of Sentry, which also makes it why Sentry sucks.
Well, it's all right.
It's going to be tough following that.
And so on Free Comic Book Day, Jason and I and a customer are talking about this, and Jason laments all that. And I, as a comic historian, I try to pride myself on having a little bit of understanding of all major characters, but I would admit that my exposure to Sentry was through the Brian Bendis lens, which was not the original writer. Right, the whole Sentry scam thing that Wizard magazine helped pull, and we found this artwork and all that crap, which was very fascinating to go back and watch, because I remember reading it in Wizard but not paying any attention, because I was like, that's John Romita Sr. art. He wasn't around. They're lying to us. I knew right off the bat that was a problem. And why I, too, am not necessarily a fan of self-doubting heroes in a way. With the Sentry, they were true to the original character. I give them props for that, because they didn't have to pick that character.
No.
And as someone who knows people, that I don't understand what it's like to go through life like that. And while I do have some... Jason's already cussed and demonetized us, so now I'm not the one. Again, 2 episodes in a row, kids. I've got some fucked up wiring in my head. I do not know, and I have a very close friend, that no matter how many antipsychotics he's put on, can't straighten out the way he should. So I respect that part of the story, even though I don't understand it. Thunderbolts overall, compared to what we've had the last couple of years, was just a lot of fun from the character building standpoint. Like Jason, I love Pugh is Black Widow Part 2. I loved her and David Harbour. To me, David Harbour is every Marvel geek that wants a really good, loud Marvel movie, and just the way he expresses himself. Not that this movie falls into the best one we've ever seen. What you mean. Yeah. But he embodies that so well. Ghost was underutilized, but we got more. We got a little more out of her than we did in Ant-Man and Wasp. Though that was her character building moment, they didn't really flesh it out. Other than she's just still a snarky.
Yeah. She's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
Walker.
Her power set's so cool.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Phasing's always been a interesting power set. Walker, once again, guy, and he was credited to be the Guy Gardner of the Marvel Universe, and he lives up to it. And watching when everyone's calling him a dime store Captain America, and you see that look on his face of that was hilarious. Julia Dreyfus. I enjoyed it. Sometimes she got a little too wahaha mad scientist real quick, but she was playing a politician trying to angle her. The twist at the end, where they're done fighting the Void, all of this, and she's standing there like you. I applaud the way the writers did that, where oh, she's gonna step through this tarp and boom! I mean, it's almost
Press
very,
conference.
it's almost DC Maxwell Lordish.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
That and I'm disappointed that they off Taskmaster in the first 30 minutes of the film, but no one liked her as Taskmaster
Correct.
anyhow. So I guess that's giving the fans what they want. When I categorize the Marvel movies, I said this to Steven as we were leaving. And once again, I thank you and your daughter for letting me interfere in daddy-daughter Marvel time
not
because
at all.
my granddaughter and I do that too, and that's a very sacred time. So to be let in to do that, that was outstanding. My top Marvel movies have been, Avengers, Endgame, Infinity, those bookends, Civil War, Winter Soldier. That's the really the top
The Russo
example.
films.
The Russo kind of right
Yeah.
there. That's at the top.
That's it.
And then there's kind of a drop, and then I kind of put Doctor Strange and Ant-Man kind of the top of the B's.
Yeah, me too.
This one and a couple others are kind of in between where I give it like a B plus, not an A.
Yeah.
Okay, you placed that exactly where I did.
Yeah,
Just under Ant-Man.
yeah, that's where I kind of look at that because once again I never expect anyone to like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I never, even though they did a great heist movie, we've talked about this many times, so I won't bore. I just when they listed Ant-Man and Doctor Strange, I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna like that. But then when you saw, Cumberbatch, you already knew.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Sherlock, this is gonna be fine. But Ant-Man, I was still going. I hope I'm not the only one in the theater that likes this. When I went to Thunderbolts, I didn't have that feeling because I knew everyone loved Pew.
Yeah.
Sitting with Allie as we're watching. And I don't remember if you got to see the Fantastic Four preview because I was getting snacks when y'all were sitting down. But there was a Fantastic Four preview.
We came in halfway through it.
So Fantastic Four
but I
preview.
had already seen it.
And very strategic. And so when the end credit, and this is a big spoiler, kids, so if you want to turn off the podcast, the Fantastic Four jet showing up, multi-dimensional.
The pogo
In the
plane.
second.
Yeah, second
credits.
end credit, very much at the end. Allie looked at me, and people are cheering, and they're really whooping it up Thursday night about that. And Allie goes, I wonder if anyone realizes they just spoiled the Fantastic Four movie, because that tells you that they lost and had to run. That was my initial thought. I was like, yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
good. Proud grandpa, credit to you figuring out that comic geek stuff ahead of time.
See, now I think they're lost in space.
Well, then two other things came up with the possibility of a Council of Reeds looking for help. Maybe they didn't lose their universe, but then there's a scene of Pedro holding the ultimate nullifier, and maybe because they've always said that they had to leave their universe to go find help at some point. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But either way, that tells me that the Fantastic Four, something bad really happened, because they're leaving. But overall, I've now seen the movie twice. I really enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it more than the Captain America movie, and I always say the Captain America one that came out is a great Sam Wilson story. It builds his character more, and seeing that movie ties into when they were talking about them getting sued and all of that. That makes sense.
See, that was my favorite part of the movie. That first post-credit scene when they were and this is why we're the Avengers with the Z.
That's the second one.
Is that the second one?
The first post-credit was the Wheaties.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, but that back scene was written and directed by the Russo brothers specifically to tie in with Doomsday. So
It's so funny.
it is, and it's very reminiscent of the Bendis years when you had two Avenger teams.
Yeah.
Correct. I did think that.
So I've overtalked that now.
Nope.
For the movie critic, the man has got more vocabulary than all of us combined.
Merriam-Webster.
What's hilarious is when you were talking about the size of his vocabulary and your vocabulary failed you right then.
Yeah,
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
I just haven't used my word of the day toilet paper today, kids, and
Exactly.
haven't read my stack yet.
I was just going to say, don't confuse the two.
Yes.
No one is ever going to buy comics from you again. We'd be like, is this one of your C collection books?
I've never sold any part of my collection. I don't have to worry about that.
Well done. Haha. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's funny. You what was the grading that you gave?
Meh.
No, you
B, we were talking about.
you gave a score to it, didn't you? Didn't you say like two something?
A neutral thumbs up. Like
Neutral
it was a fun popcorn movie.
Okay.
It's not the one that I go to all the time, but it was I had a good time. I ate popcorn.
So there's lots of different barometers. I mean, Ebert, Siskel and Ebert obviously had their thumbs up or thumbs down. Empire magazine has their 5 stars. Everyone's kind of got their own thing. Mine is pass fail.
And I remember your scale. We were
And
talking about
it
this.
is the ass ache barometer. Because, as I said in another podcast, for various reasons, sciatic nerve, bad hips, just basically being kicked around too many times in life, I struggle with sitting for long periods of time. So if I am conscious of the ache in my lower back, my upper posterior, that tells me that this movie is not capturing my engagement. But if I'm not aware of it, then it's like, no, that was a worthy experience, because, when the movie final, there's the Fantastic Four pogo plane, house lights come up, because us Marvel fans, we got to stay to the end, so we now experience the house lights coming on.
And don't you look judgy at people who get up before?
Oh,
absolutely. Like, is this your
just
first
wanna be
Marvel movie?
What's wrong with you?
What kind of animal are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's happening?
So, sit your butt down, enjoy the score. You're going to see a treat at the end. So I get out of that chair, and it'd be like, oh, there it is. There's the pain in the back. Fantastic. But if I'm not aware of it up until that point, then that movie has scored points. Case in point, just to give kind of give some contrast or give some examples, Blade Runner 2049, which I have far too many friends and people I know who absolutely hated that movie. I freaking loved it. It's a long movie. I didn't notice the ass ache at all. Avengers Endgame, I was not aware of the ass ache on both times that I saw it. Wakanda Forever, yeah, I was really aware of my ass ache on that, which, draw your own conclusions.
What about the Eternals?
I didn't see that in the theater.
Okay.
That's
This is a good decision. This is a
I
positive.
liked the Eternals, though, but also I saw it on the small screen, so that might have had a factor.
Well, you were expecting a TV movie and not an actual feature film, so you probably.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was different. I thought it was quite unique. I can understand absolutely why people didn't like it. I understand why people hated it. But no, I enjoyed it. Anyway,
All right, now it's officially on my rewatch list. I have 2 21-hour flights coming up, so I'm just loading up the gear with stuff.
And sometimes you watch a film. I've said this, I think, on a previous podcast. I remember watching. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on at home because somebody had bought it on DVD or Blu-ray, whatever it was. Dark Knight. And the first time I saw it, I absolutely hated it. This movie sucks. Ugh. And then a couple of months went by, I saw it again, and was like, this movie's great. What the hell was I thinking? It just goes that way. Anyway.
So Return of the King, I did this. No, not Return of the King. The one before, Two Towers.
Two
Which is
Towers.
my favorite now.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep the first time
Yeah.
because I went to a 10 o'clock showing, and it was in California, and I was on
Jet lag.
jet lag time.
Right.
And I fell asleep in it, and I was like, well, that must have sucked because I fell asleep. And turns out I love that one. And I fell asleep.
It's just the way it goes. So yeah, no ass ache with Thunderbolts. I take your point about the therapy thing. Although I have to say, if I thought that the movie was missing something, was that we didn't get a chance to see the void house terrors of the other members of the Thunderbolts. We only got to see Yelena. We got to see a little bit of John Walker, I think.
I did love Bucky's line. Oh yeah, my life was just a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I was quite curious. I wondered what Red Guardians was like, given that the first time we met him in Black Widow, he was in prison. So obviously there's some complications here. And he, as a character, he is aware of what happened in the Red Room. And when there's that scene when when Yelena is talking about the things that she did as a kid, and I thought it was quite telling that David Harbour's reaction was like, yeah, it was terrible. It's a shame. It was terrible, but it was quite subdued. It was almost as if to say, we do the things that we do in service of Mother Russia or whatever. And I thought, okay, so there's some complications.
I can't remember. Did they take those kids from them in the Black Widow movie? I think
yes.
I think
they did.
I think the Red Room people took them from him.
When they left America on the little plane.
Yeah.
And they landed was when the kids were separated from mom and dad.
And so he wasn't a part of it. Like there was
but he's aware of it.
Yeah, he knows the torture that happened to his
So
son.
he is the surrogate dad for Natasha and Yelena, and clearly Yelena has affection and fondness for him because she goes to him. But there's something there. There has to be something there because horrible things happen to these kids, and it's like,
Now, as fathers of all three fathers of daughters, sitting here, when she called him dad, a couple of times, did that
absolutely
resonate?
Of course,
it resonated with me. I was kind of like thinking of some of the times that my daughters had been through something tough. Now, nothing like that character.
But
and Jason, you've got a blank look on your face. Did it not? Didn't really.
It didn't.
Didn't trigger anything.
No. I don't have. I don't know of any like. I know some of the stuff that your kids have dealt with. I don't have any of those yet.
Well, it's not one for one. So.
Yeah. No, but it's anyway.
Yeah,
So
I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I actually, because I thought that this, my youngest daughter, she nailed it as we were walking. I don't know if you caught this. We were walking out of the theater, and she said that she's like she really enjoyed that. She's like, that was a character study. That wasn't an action film. That was a character study. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I enjoy that because the problem when you're making an action movie is, let's be honest, there's only so many times you can see cars being blown up, spectacular explosions, shootings, It becomes very like, oh, here we go again. There'll be some slow-mo, somebody's going to twist in the air. I mean, look, I love John Woo films, but what the problem with John Woo is that once you've seen a couple of John Woo films, you've seen all of John Woo's films. Okay. But character study, that's something, you got to work at that. You can't just lean into pyrotechnics. So
a true artist can make a blow-up movie interesting for a whole movie of blow-up movies. So here's because I
be very
trying
careful
to get
here because you're going to get challenged. You're going to.
Did you see John Wick 4?
No, but I've seen the first two.
Okay.
And they are quite spectacular.
John Wick 4, just more of the same, but somehow different and better. And I think the apex of all shoot-'em-up action movies. Like, somehow they managed to, like, raise the level of awesome shoot-'em-up action movie.
Right.
And I don't even know, I couldn't tell you right now what they did, but the whole time I'm like, yeah, that was great. I'm going to go rewatch it. That's on my list, too. That's made the list.
Well,
and I don't know if you remember I don't know if either one of you remember how I described it, because you'd already seen it, Jason. When I said this was if you're a comic book fan, you figured out the story in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was never designed to be a whodunit, who's really the bad guy. Is that Senator really the Emperor? Or is that who he's going to be? It was never designed to be that. But it was the character development and I always said the character interaction, because once again, watching Widow and Walker, and kind of the professional disrespect she had, they all had for him, but she did rely on him for some strategy when they were trying to get Bob out of there. And it is, they keep, so is that hat, you like that hat you're wearing? You mean my helmet? It's pretty cool. Do you, and anyone that's ever been married, do you like it?
Yeah.
That is such that is such your wife looking at you going, Not that there's romantic
no,
component. No. So, do you think it's good? Then,
No.
if you hear that, then it's not good. I need to stop. Maybe that's why he's wearing the beret at the end.
And that's just what I was going to say. That's when I saw him wearing the beret, I was like, oh, that got to him.
Yeah.
That got to him. There has to be a deleted scene where he's looking at himself in the mirror like, yeah, I got to come up with something different. This just isn't what, because he's when Chris Evans is wearing the Captain America helmet, it works.
It does.
When Wyatt Russell is wearing the Captain America helmet with his beard and everything, it's like, is it just a little too small?
Well, without the beard, he
don't
looked
know.
like Popeye.
Yeah.
It just doesn't quite work.
I read an article here not too long ago where they were interviewing Wyatt, where they purposely constructed his Captain America outfit to piss people off, to make it look not like Chris Evans. Like he talked
Right.
about the helmet, he inflected it, made it look like a male phallic symbol in some ways.
Right.
Because that was all intentional. I mean, and he reflected back on the comic book writing. Goes, you weren't supposed to like John Walker
No.
in the comics.
That's right.
You wanted Steve Rogers back, and they kind of mimicked that. But in this, it's definitely the guy's lost his family.
Yeah.
He wishes he's Captain America.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
he has to keep reminding, I'm a military strategist. I've been in blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And his stratagems are about 85% right on the money,
Yeah.
but then there's that, you missed a component.
Sure.
And that was fun throughout. Pause, not stop.
Yeah, we need to pause just for a second. Can you pause?
Or maybe not.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Because the last time we did that, we lost a whole.
I was trying to figure out how to do it without messing it up.
that's fine.
We'll just carry on.
We'll delete this whole thing.
There you go. But yeah, no, I thought John Walker was I think he was served better in this movie than he was in the Falcon Winter Soldier show. I have to admit, when they killed Taskmaster, the first thought went through my mind was, so you're Slipknot
Yeah,
from
Suicide
Squad. Because that's exactly what they did.
That's true.
Yeah, you wanted to show us that you were serious.
And then from that point on,
Yeah.
I did, unfortunately, I kept making comparisons to the Suicide Squad movie, watching the film. It wasn't too much of a detractor. It wasn't too much
I
of
mean,
a
it totally
detraction,
is
but
that.
it was.
Like, it's
But it
Marvel's
is,
Suicide
it is
Squad.
that.
But without the, I thought well, no, I think I like Suicide Squad better. I don't know. No, I think I like this one better. This one's better than
Thunderbolts
Suicide Squad.
is a better movie.
There are a bunch of Suicide Squad haters, and I kind of liked it. I love a good.
It
I
was
like the
okay.
buddy bantery
Yeah.
thing that.
I
that
know
Once
It
again,
was
character
happens.
development.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It was fun. But one thing, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, if she'd had a mustache, she would have been totally twirling that mustache. But I thought that she's an egotistical maniac. She's fulfilling when Norman Osborn was director of Hammer
Yeah,
and
Hammer.
with Thunderbolts, you go back and reread those issues, especially the Warren Ellis run, and you can see they're not going to have a Norman Osborn storyline because of the whole Spider-Man tie-up thing with Sony, but I think that's kind of what they're doing with Fontaine. And I thought that was fine. The switch out at the end. Oh, it's a press conference. You're not going to kill me. Oh, the press corps is here, and they're your new. I thought that was kind of fun. When
Yelena goes into the Sentry darkness.
Yeah.
And she poofs out. I wasn't sure what was happening to people. I was like, wait, did they just kill off the best person in this whole movie?
Yeah.
I thought that was. I mean. They created really solid tension there. I thought they did a good job there.
Absolutely.
I had a slight emotional response when Red Guardian told him that little girl, and she just poofs out of existence. I mean, that was dark
Yes.
for a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it
because
was.
I also think about the general audience who don't understand what's going on.
Right.
I think these people might be legitimately dead, and Disney just vaporized a little girl out on the. This isn't Quentin Tarantino's film.
Yes,
this is
that's right.
But yeah, I knew it was going to start, but I did kind of go, "Whoa, that was dark."
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty ballsy of them. As grumpy as everybody is with Russia, to have 3 of the main characters be Russian adjacent, right?
Sure.
You got Winter Soldier. You got
Yeah, but everyone's forgiving Bucky for that, though. It's Bucky now.
Bucky
It's yeah,
sort of.
Yeah, but he's still got a red star.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
They did talk about which super serum they had, and I thought that was kind of funny. You know?
Good bit. That was a good bit. Hydra. I get the Hydra serum. I had the Russian one. Yeah.
Fancy, yeah.
That was good.
Actually,
Yeah.
they could have played that up more with John Walker as well, because obviously there are competing super soldier serums.
Apparently, everybody gets super soldier serum now.
Well,
Like,
they
you
keep
get-
trying to see, but they're not as good as the one that
Steven.
Dr.
Erskine?
Erskine,
Thank
yeah.
you. See, you know.
Well, so I think John Walker got the same one as Dr. Erskine, basically, but his character wasn't as strong as Steve Rogers because it amplifies your character.
I don't know. I mean, my thought is that they killed Erskine. In the
Well-
comics, it was always
they-
like
well,
it's not the same.
Well, in the Falcon Winter Soldier miniseries, it was a Hydra doctor taking Hydra formula,
Right.
but they changed it. And they even said they thought it wasn't going to amplify the asshole.
Right.
They thought it was going to be that's where the power broker was going to be selling it.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, that
okay,
was that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
y'all, you're Jason's pretty close to.
Okay.
That no one has said that they've recreated the original exact formula, but this one that John used is supposed to be as close as they could get. I still this day think that the one that Bucky got from Hydra is they had Hydra spies and Shield. That might have
That might have been the same
that
one.
might have been the same one, but they've never said that. So
Right, okay.
I do treat that as the Hydra one when we're talking about it. I brought this little thing up, I think, to both of y'all, but just for the audience, the name switch.
Yeah.
You know, Thunderbolts to New Avengers. We had some thoughts in the store that the comic was coming out that way and that was going to make people mad. I want to remind people of the long and tooth Thunderbolts fans that that's what the Thunderbolts did to us in the original Kurt Busiek run in just a little different ways. We didn't get the Masters of Evil, but it was, hey, it's Thunderbolts. Hey, it's Thunderbolts. No, it's not. It's over here. Now, they never changed the name to Masters of Evil in the comic. But it's, I don't know if any writer thought about this when they did the shtick with the asterisk. But to me, it's in the same vein as,
Yes.
you're over here, you're over here. Oh, God, look what we got here.
Yeah,
And
well, Dark Avengers. I mean, that
Yeah.
run.
and I think it's kind of cute that you see, you know, and they know who they're marketing for. They get Bucky out there changing posters to New Avengers.
Yes,
and
that was
I
true.
don't know how wide. I mean, I'm curious what Disney's streaming is going to, what title they're going to go with when you.
I think they're going to go with
It's Thunderbolts, but then
New
New
Avengers,
Avengers. Yeah.
yeah.
Like well, I don't know. Now it's Captain America Winter Soldier miniseries.
Yeah.
I don't think they kept the Falcon, but when it was first streaming, it was Falcon Winter Soldier,
yeah.
and then it swithed to Captain America Winter Soldier in the last episode.
You know what I know.
It's still Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus.
Is it?
Yeah, because I looked at it yesterday.
I don't know. HBO Max keeps changing its
Oh,
name.
that's
'cause
just-
that cracks
That's
me
a
up.
whole other
So
bunch of nonsense.
Here's the thing that I think they missed out on the opportunity for. They've got a Zemo.
Yeah,
We
Zemo
we
should
could've
have been
had
running.
but Zemo got Zemo.
He's in a Wakandan prison.
He's in Wakanda.
Yeah.
The Wakandans took him.
Yeah.
That's what we know. I would, knowing the Wakandans, I'd be surprised if he's in prison. Like it seems
He's
like
on
they're
like a chain gang somewhere.
no, I think they offed him, but we'll see. But isn't that how Sam got his armor?
Yeah,
is that
he called in a favor.
well, the Wakandans, he turned Zemo over to the
Yeah.
Wakandans, and then
Well, Bucky turned Zemo over,
yeah,
and because that's when Zemo's like, "Hey, I'm not going to kill you. You didn't ask for this to be done to you."
Yeah.
Turns them all Wakandas, and they're like, "You can't come back to Wakanda for a while because you were on Zemo's side." And he goes, "Fine, but I need a favor," and they designed the Falcon suit.
that's how he gets that suit. So I watched the very beginning of that show. It's on the if you take a fly on American, you can watch the new Captain America. And I didn't think I could appreciate a Marvel movie in that format on the back seat of a plane. So I have other plans for it
To experience it.
to experience it. But yeah, that was that was interesting to me, and I had forgotten, but that armor is pretty awesome.
Yeah, no,
It's full out Iron Man class armor,
well, that and it has the Black Panther's energy,
vibranium thing.
you know, conversion technology, as it were. And
So it explains why he can
Yes.
fight super soldiers, or I guess Red Hulks.
well, no,
eventually.
and they do address the I don't have superhero serum in me.
Yeah.
Because there's some times when he's like, maybe I should have taken the formula as he's laying on the
Yeah, he
ground.
totally should have.
Yeah, and it's
But no, I enjoyed the film. Yeah, Florence Pugh, she steals the show. Her interplay with Red Guardian is a lot of fun. Just like her interplay with Kate Bishop
Yeah.
in the Hawkeye show was super fun.
That character is so good.
I know.
The character is
And
so good.
When because we saw Black Widow because you arranged the screening, Jason.
Oh yeah, really?
And the scene when she's talking about her vest with all the pockets and everything, because as we may have discussed in an earlier podcast,
pockets.
I love pockets, but not cargo pants, but shirts.
Shorts that act like cargo
I
pants.
have a lot of jackets. I have a lot of vests with pockets galore. Eddie Bauer, Daniel Cremo, love it. My wife was like giggling because she's like, that's exactly his thing. The pocket. I love the pockets. You put so many things in them. They're so handy. They're so helpful. You know, if I spoke in a Russian accent, I'm sure I would sound exactly like that, having justified pockets many times. My youngest daughter is getting ready for her shift in the shop today, and she's walking past and nodding her head like, yep, you with the pockets. Absolutely. You know, they were making fun of my shirt earlier.
No, we were
No, they were
admiring.
admiring.
Okay.
But he thinks it's a fishing shirt. It's not a fishing shirt.
It looks kind of like a fishing shirt.
Go to your room. Anyway,
It's made for fishermen that are out in the sun.
No, it
it's
could
like
be.
it's to
It
like
could
keep you from getting sunburned.
that's it. That's right.
Like it goes around your thumb so that when you
See,
cast your renal, you're not.
Yeah, that's true. And look, either way, I am good with it. Although, you know, white, it is going to get a little dirty. So
That's cool. It's a cool shirt.
All right, so we
If you want to hear the story of the shirt, we go into much more
Shirt
depth.
Carnation, Eddie Bauer collaboration.
Yes, it's definitely it's a Krakoan original.
It is.
Yeah,
yes.
Krakoan original from the Krakoan
Exactly.
Eddie Bauer combo.
Act now. and you get a
Listen to
little
our
peck with those
last
seeds.
podcast
Yeah.
about why we actually don't read comics, and then just double down on it right here where we only talk about movies.
That's right.
So
Yeah. No, Thunderbolts was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Fantastic Four is our next big screen thing. I'm looking forward to it. Cautiously optimistic because of the nature of the property. But that should be good. And Disney Plus is getting ready to do Ironheart. And I want to be excited about that. I want to get into that. I don't like that actress as Riri Williams. Just like I didn't like Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff. So there are a couple of casting misfires for me. But who knows?
Well, there we are, kids.
There we are.
We'll wrap this one up because it's 10 minutes before the store opens.
That's right.
We're
Yeah,
not going to
so-
do customer interviews. So
That's right.
keep watching movies and keep reading comics, kids.
Yeah.
all right, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Multiverse Comics podcast. If you'd like to visit us in person, you can find us at the Multiverse in Hurst, Texas. If you'd like to shop with us online, you can do that at www.multiverse.shop. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics.